Now, if you grew up in the 80s like me, you watched The Dukes of Hazzard. What a great show. It was just a fun show that never took itself too seriously. And by 1985, the ratings were starting to slip. They had ran out of storylines. Hell, Tom Wopat and John Snyder was already complaining about the lack of stories and bad scripts. Part of the reason why they walked away. Also had to walk away, they wanted more of the merchandise rights. And that's when Corey and Vance came in. But by 1985, they worked all that out. Or made some kind of deal because the story writing was probably even got worse. Because in 1985, the Dukes of Hazzard met an alien. You heard me right. There was an episode where the Duke boys, and the whole town I guess, met an alien. Ugh, it's one of the worst episodes of Dukes of Hazzard. The episode opens with Bo, Luke, and Daisy riding around in the General Lee. They're listening to the radio. Funny enough, the radio station they're listening to is WHOGG, W Hogg. I guess Boss Hogg owned everything in this town. Anyway, they listen to the local radio. It's kind of like their local version of the Art Bell Show. And they're hearing all these people call in, talking about how they saw a flying saucer and UFO in the sky. Bo and Luke, they think it's a bunch of nonsense. Especially when one local claims he shot it. Bo and Duke, they just think people got too much moonshine. Now Daisy, the smart one of the group, she isn't so quick to judge. She's starting to think, hey, maybe something really strange is going on in Hazzard County. I mean, this is Hazzard County, for God's sakes. Seems like every week there's something strange going on. There are bank robbers, there are crooked cops. There was even one time a ghost in Hazzard County. But I think that turned out to be a fake ghost, kind of like a Scooby-Doo episode. Anyway, they're driving around listening to the radio, and this local man named Clyde comes on the radio, and he said he saw the flying saucer himself. Bo and Luke keep making jokes about it. Now, to try to calm the guy down, Luke actually talks to him on his CB radio. Before long, they run into Clyde, driving straight down the road. He's clearly shaken up. He saw something spooky. But then the next morning comes, the sun rises. And Enos, the crazy deputy, he's driving patrol in a place they call Skunk Hollow. Now, I don't know about you, but I wouldn't hang out anywhere called Skunk Hollow. But he suddenly spots a strange glowing light in the sky. As he steps out of the car, the light gets brighter. Strange things begin to happen. And suddenly his police radio goes out. And that's enough for Enos. He gets out there like a tig on a hog butt. Back in town at the courthouse, Boss Hogg is complaining about how the county treasurer is being low. And he's coming up with some way to try to get more money for Hazzard County. After all, he probably wasted or embezzled it or something, so he's trying to cover his tracks. That's when Enos comes in. He's all huffing and puffing, telling Boss Hogg about what he saw at Skunk Holler. Roscoe thinks Enos has finally lost it. But for Boss Hogg, no, he sees an opportunity to make money. He doesn't laugh at all or call Enos crazy. He realizes people want to see a UFO. If he knew where UFOs were, he could sell tickets. So him and Roscoe head out to Skunk Hollow. They're going to investigate. At the same time, Bo, Luke, and Daisy stop by Cooter's garage, where UFO talk is still the hottest topic in town. Cooter jokes that if aliens really were visiting Hazzard County, they had to show up on the dance floor at the Boar's Nest Saturday night. Nobody's really taking it all that seriously. But things change quickly when Enos comes speeding through town, yelling about the UFO we saw. And everybody starts to realize, hey, maybe there is something to this. Because if Enos believes it, it's got to be true, right? I mean, it's Enos, the dumbest deputy in town. Later that night, Bo, Duke, and Daisy head out to Skunk Hollow. They're not there to really gather information about a UFO or anything. They're not detectives. They're out there to get apples for Daisy's pie and jelly she's making. Boss Hogg and Roscoe suddenly show up and tell the Dukes the land is now county property, and they're trespassing. And of course, Duke boys don't care about anything Boss or Roscoe has to say. But they do run them off, and a chase does start. You gotta have a car chase in about every 10 minutes of the show. But Bo and Duke, they're kind of curious of why Boss Hogg is trying to keep people away from Skunk Hollow. And back at the Duke farm, it's gonna get a lot stranger. After returning home, Daisy suddenly screams when she sees something sitting in the back seat of the General Lee. Just about the time Daisy saw it, it disappeared. But before long, the Dukes all spot it. This time it's on the roof at the farmhouse. So slowly they try to make contact with this alien. And the alien doesn't seem all that dangerous. Seems kind of curious about the Duke family. And the Dukes realize, hey, this isn't some monster. Might be an alien, but it's not a monster. So the Dukes welcome the alien into their home and even give him a nickname. They call him Little Cousin.
That's a real nice name, too. How do you spell that?
I know. Why don't we call him Lil' Cousin? Can we call you Lil' Cousin?
They feed him. They try their best to communicate with him. Quickly realize He's no danger. He's a pretty cool guy. Meanwhile, Daisy calls Enos because she knows that he's the only person in town that will believe they found the alien. But this is Hazzard County. You can't keep a secret long in Hazzard County because, you guessed it, Boss Hogg and Roscoe show up at the farm after hearing Enos is heading up there. So the alien has to hide, and he hides in the General Lee. Roscoe's dog Flash gives away by barking at him nonstop. That's when Boss Hogg and Roscoe see the strange alien. And now Boss Hogg, he wants to capture little cousin and orders Roscoe to arrest him and the Duke boys. But the alien jumps into Roscoe's patrol car and actually drives off. So Bo and Duke have to chase after him in the General Lee, and again, the episode turns into a car chase. This time it's the alien driving a police car through Hazzard County. And just when you think all this crazy is going on, it can't get any crazier, well, guess what? There's two crooks in town, Mickey and Buck, and they realize with the UFO scare going around, this is a perfect opportunity for them to take over the local radio station at gunpoint. And by doing so, they lock up Elton, Boss, Roscoe, and Enos in a closet. And then they get on the radio, giving out fake emergency announcements, telling people of Hazzard County that the aliens had invaded and everyone needs to get out of town as fast as they can. And the people of Hazzard County actually believe it. Cars flood the roads as panic spreads across town. As for Bo and Luke, well, they hear this on the radio, and they realize something's off. I mean, they know the alien. They gave him a nickname. They know he's friendly. Bo and Luke head to the radio station, but things get pretty bad. The alien tries to help, but the bad guys realize they stumbled on something valuable. They can take this alien and sell it for a lot of money. So their new plan is to kidnap the alien. They overpower Bo and Luke, lock everyone in the closet, and take off with the alien, hoping they can somehow profit from him. But you know what happens next? That's right, they get out of the closet, and a car chase happens. Another car chase. Shocking, I know. So Bo and Luke do a car chase, and they catch up with the crooks and attempt to rescue the alien without putting him in much danger. Now, the little alien's been asleep this whole time. He wakes up and uses his powers to help the Dukes stop the crooks. Now that they have the bad guys captured, there's one thing left to do. They gotta get the alien home. The Dukes head back to Skunk Hollow, where the alien says his family is gonna come back to pick him up. Now, this is where you think there's going to be some kind of twist ending. It's not really an alien, just a little person in a costume playing Halloween early or something. But no, the UFO shows up to get the little alien. There's no big twist at the end. This is really an UFO comes to Hazzard County and an alien shows up and hangs out with the Duke family. They all stand there watching the alien head back home. It's been a real crazy day in Hazzard County. Crooks trying to take over a radio station, Boss Hogg trying to make money, car chases after car chases, and a little alien showing up. What a crazy time. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. By the time this episode came out, I was checked out of the Dukes of Hazzard. I don't remember this one as a kid. I didn't find out about it till years later. I don't know how I would have took it as a kid watching this thing because I took my Dukes of Hazzard seriously. I knew he got corny and silly at times, but I didn't know it was going to get this corny and silly. Well, that's a look at the worst episode of The Dukes of Hazzard.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.